Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to our class on inspections. My name is Robert Rodriguez, and thank you once again for joining us for today's class. Guys, if you have any questions on inspections, what we're going to cover today, please feel free to unmute yourselves. This is a class for you. It's an interactive class. We are going to cover quite a bit of information when it comes to home inspections, what to expect as a buyer agent, and we're going to review the inspection report as well. And we're going to review the inspection clause on the purchase contract. All right, we are recording our session. As always, you can find all of our recordings inside of our YouTube channel. I have created a playlist called Realtors Training Videos or Realtor Tools Training Videos. And here you'll be able to find all the classes that we host here at Elite Ocean View Realty. And I'm going to go ahead and share that with you right now in the chat, guys. So those of you that would like the link to the YouTube channel, all right, let's go ahead and please visit our YouTube channel. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share this with you right now. Go ahead and click on the link on the chat and it'll open up the YouTube channel. You guys can save it to your favorites and you can follow along with all the training videos that we have for you. All right, so today's topic is inspections and what to expect during an inspection. All right, guys, so please, if you can, keep yourselves on mute. And if you have any questions, you can, of course, unmute yourselves. All right. So the first thing is choosing an inspection company. Okay, now there are many different inspection companies, and one way that we can find the very best is by going to miamirealtors.com, and you want to click on affiliates right over here. You want to click on affiliates, and then you want to click on this center button right here. It says Miami Affiliate Directory. And here you're going to look for property inspection companies. All right, so right here, home inspection and engineering. We're going to click there. And these are some of the top inspection companies in South Florida. Guys, you have their website, you have their phone number and their location. All right, so when you represent the buyer, of course, one of the first things you're going to do after you are under contract is that you're going to order an inspection. You're going to provide some of these inspection companies to your buyers. They're going to make the phone call and they're going to, find the best value. Some of them have different pricing. And then they're going to pay for the inspection. Usually the inspection is paid once it's completed. So your buyer will need to be at the property during inspection. And of course, you should be there as well as their representative. Once the inspection is complete, they can pay for it right there um, directly with the inspector himself. All right, so some of my favorites are Allied Building Inspections. I like TrueView as well. You have over here Infinity Inspection Services. You have Max Home Inspection. So these are all really great. I'm just pretty much labeling some of the ones that I have used personally. All right. So that is how you find some inspection companies. Now, what is the inspection period and how do we make sure that everything falls under the inspection period? Well, for that, we need to open our as-is contract for sale and purchase, which is inside of Form Simplicity. Of course, you guys can search for the as-is, okay? Now, if you don't know how to search for the as-is, it's pretty simple. Inside of Form Simplicity, which is this program right here, you guys are going to go ahead and log in and you're going to go to blank forms. All right, so let me go ahead and close this out. Let's go to blank forms real quick. And then you're going to open up the Florida one and you'll see it right here as is residential contract for sale and purchase. That is the contract that we use when we're going to submit an offer to purchase a property. Now, if we move down in the contract, we're going to eventually go to page number 5. And in page number 5, paragraph number 12 is the property inspection right to cancel. All right. So let's read this thoroughly. Let's read it. So, starting with line 261, property inspections and right to cancel. Buyers shall have, and then there's a space. Normally, we recommend that you put in 10 days. Buyer shall have 10 days to inspect the property. If you leave it in blank, it defaults to 15 days. I want to tell you that when you guys submit an offer, usually sellers do not want to see 15-day inspection periods. Usually they want to see between 7 to 10 days. All right. So you put in 10 days and it says 10 days after effective date, and that is the inspection period within which to have such inspections of the property performed as buyer shall desire during the inspection period. If buyer determines in buyer's sole discretion that the property is not acceptable to buyer, buyer may terminate this contract by delivering written notice of such election to the seller prior to the expiration of inspection period. So let's stop right there. For any reason, all right, let's just say the inspection was performed and everything is great with the property. And let's just say for whatever reason your buyer decides they want to back out during this 10-day inspection period, they can legally back out for any reason at all, as long as you submit the cancellation to the contract. Okay. So it doesn't have to be that something is wrong with the property. It could just very well mean they are having cold feet or they just had a change of heart. As long as you are within that 10-day inspection period, there is a way out. Now, if buyer timely terminates this contract, the deposit shall be returned to the buyer. Thereupon, the buyer and seller shall be released from all further obligations under this contract. However, buyer shall be responsible for prompt payment for such inspection. So the downfall, of course, is that if you perform the inspection and you decide to pull out, the buyer would have already spent between $300 and $500 for that inspection. Okay. So now it says here for such inspection for repair of damage to and restoration of the property resulting from such inspections. All right. So once you receive the inspection report, you're going to thoroughly review the inspection report. Most great inspection companies will recommend whatever damages or whatever fixes and the cost to whatever fixes that are required or recommended by the inspection company. So if there's significant damage and significant repairs in the inspection report, then you can use that inspection report. You're going to send it over to the sellers and you're going to say that your buyer is requesting a buyer credit, some type of credit towards closing costs. Let's say, there's a total of $2,000 in recommended fixes and you want to request a buyer credit, you absolutely can do that. All right. Now it says here, unless buyer exercises the right to terminate granted herein, buyer accepts the physical condition of the property and any violation of the governmental building and environmental and safety codes, restrictions or requirements, but subject to the seller's continuing as is maintenance required. And buyer shall be responsible for any other repairs and improvements required by the buyer's lender. So once again, if your buyer decides that the inspection report is acceptable and they're not going to be asking for any type of buyer credit, then they accept to move forward with the transaction at their own cost, meaning that they're going to pay for their own repairs. So during this inspection period, you absolutely have the opportunity to negotiate some type of credit for your buyer if needed. All right, so again, understanding the inspection period of the contract is important. Guys, during this inspection period, your buyers have an opportunity to pull out, right? Even before they perform the inspection. Let's say they placed a contract and 3 days later, you haven't even scheduled the inspection yet, but 3 days later, somehow they want to cancel the contract, you can do that, okay? All right, so that is inside of the as-is purchase contract. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the 3 reports that an inspector will produce when performing a home inspection. You have the full home inspection report. You also have the 4-point inspection report, and you have the wind mitigation report. All right. So let's go ahead and share that screen with you. Give me 1 second here, and let's open up the inspection report. So we are going to view right now the actual full home inspection report. Those of you that have never seen it, the inspection report will be sent to your buyers because they're the ones that paid for it, and it's also going to be sent to you. The inspection company should have you as a point of contact. And then if you're going to negotiate any type of buyer credit, you're also going to have to forward this inspection report to the sellers. All right. So this is a home inspection report recently done by True View Inspections. It is going to have a photo of the property, the address of the property, and the client's name. Underneath, it's going to have who performed the inspection and who is the agent. Okay. Following that, you're going to see here the table of contents. And then here a summary of what was inspected. And notice here, see this here? Little recommendation of fixes. So these little icons are recommendations to fix. And here we go. We have some basic information on the property, some videos. And then here we have some photos. Usually an inspector is going to take exterior photos of the property. They may use some type of drone to take aerial photos as well. All right, so age of the home, what to expect. All right, so what is Build Facts? Right here it says Build Facts serves as a valuable third-party information hub for the residential property. This company specializes in curating and organizing comprehensive construction records pertaining to over 700 million homes. So it is recommending that you can go here. Again, every inspection company is going to use their own resources. Here's one where you can pretty much follow the history of the property like a Carfax, but this is for homes, Build Facts. And here are some 360-degree video or photos of the property itself. And now we talk about the roof. So again, either the inspector gets up on the roof or they use a drone. So if it is like a two-story home, perhaps the inspector does not get up on the roof, and they'll use a drone to kind of go over the roof here. Okay, so it talks here about the roof. Inspection method was a drone. All right, so it talks about the roof being aluminum, also roof vents. All right, and then we have here flashings material, aluminum. Coverings is asphalt shingle. This roof right here was in 2019, roof permit number, and then 2019. So it is a roof that was recently, right? It's recently installed back in 2018. December 2018 was the permit application date. So if there's any findings, they'll mark here on the photos what findings they came up with. So there was some findings here, very minor stuff that can be repaired very easily. All right, then here they're gonna go ahead and talk to you about the exterior of the home. So here we're talking about doors, sliding glass door, metal wood, stucco concrete. All right. So any damages, notice here when they say damaged frame casing, exterior door has damaged casing frame, repairs are recommended. And then right here it says estimated cost of the repairs between $200 and $300. So it's basically the molding, right, that goes around the door. I guess there's some water damage or wear and tear, and recommendation to replace that. All right, so right here they found also that the lock was missing, and well, it's a very simple repair. This is not something that I would try and claim as a buyer credit. Maybe broken windows or a broken door, but just a lock, you're expected to replace your locking mechanism anyways when you purchase a home. So it's not really something that I would try and include in my buyer credits. Neither is the weather stripping either. Weather stripping is something you can replace. You can just go to Home Depot and you can replace that. All right, so failed seal. Once again, so it's all minor stuff. If there is any kind of plumbing or electrical recommendations of fixings, and then that's usually something that I would try and claim in my inspection and my buyer credits. Also, any kind of foundation issues or roof issues. All right, so here they're just talking about this tree being a little too close to the property. All right, so we have some bugs in the area. All right, so little bugs. Again, it's just recommended that you contact a pest control so you can remedy that issue. Then it studies the AC, the year of the AC. All right, so the AC was installed in 2017. It's a 3-ton AC. Each of these, again, everyone works differently, but each of these does have a video, so a link to the video on how the AC is working. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and show you. They went ahead and showed a picture of the coils that need to be cleaned. Also, notice here the AC needs to be fastened. It was not fastened to this concrete slab. Here we have ducts that are damaged. All right, so all in all, guys, get used to it's a 49-page report, so I'm not going to go through everything, but get used to going through an inspection report. There are samples of inspection reports in Google. I'm actually using one from a real transaction that I am in right now, but there are samples of inspection reports in Google that you can go through. All right, so let's go through this here all the way through all the findings, and let's get to somewhat here. Uh, they went through the tile, toilet. I mean, they go through everything. Inspections usually take between 2 and 3 hours. So plan on being at the inspection, during the inspection for about 2 to 3 hours. Utilities need to be turned on, and of course, you need access to the property. So you're going to let the listing agent know that you have an inspection scheduled for a certain date and time, and that you do have access to the property and that utilities are turned on. All right. So this is what the full inspection report looks like. It goes through every single item in the house, guys. They do not miss one item in the house. All right, so standards of practice right here, little disclaimers on the roof, exterior, basement, foundation, cross structure, cross space and structure, cooling, plumbing, electrical, doors, windows, and interior. Okay. That is your full inspection report. Let's go ahead and I'm going to minimize this. Does anyone have any questions on the full inspection report? Because I am going to now show you the 4-point inspection. No one? All right, so let's close that out. And I'm going to open now the 4-point. Let's go ahead and share the 4-point with you. All right, guys, so we're looking at the 4-point inspection. This is another report. This one's going to go through all electrical, plumbing, and roof of the property. All right, so it's a thorough inspection of the circuit breaker and the main panel, right? They're gonna remove the entire face cover of the panel. They're gonna look at all the electrical wiring. They're gonna make sure that there's no electrical wiring exposed. Okay. Then they're gonna go over here and they're going to document what they found. And then here they're gonna go through the AC, right? AC, central heat. Yes, yes. Date of last inspection. All right, wood burning stove or central gas fireplace not professionally installed? No. Space heater used as primary heat source? No. Is the source portable? No. Once again, does the air handler, condenser line, or drain pan show any signs of blockage, leakage? No. The age of the AC, 2017. Plumbing. Is there temperature pressure relief valve on the water heater? Yes. Is there any indication of an active leak? No. Is there any indication of a prior leak? No. Where's the water heater? It's inside of the AC closet. It was one of those tankless water heaters. When it comes to appliances, satisfactory dishwasher, refrigerator, water heater, and shower tubs. And this house did not have any washing machine or dryers. Toilets are satisfactory, sinks are satisfactory, and everything else that you see here is satisfactory as well. Supplemental information, age of piping. All right, so it's partially repiped. In 2019, copper PVC supply pipes replaced at water heater below sinks and toilets and valves. And then here, type of piping, copper and PVC. All right, guys, if you see galvanized piping, all right, not galvanized, if you see here polybutylene piping, then you may have a case to ask for some type of credit. All right, those are older style pipes, and that's not the case here. As a matter of fact, when I was speaking to the inspector, he says it's great. Copper and PVC are the best type of piping that you may have. So some of the older homes may have polybutylene pipes as well. So keep in mind that if you see that, then you may have a case for getting a little bit of a credit back. When it comes to the roof, it's asphalt shingle. It was, installed within the last 10 years, remaining roof life about 14 years. So that's great. It was fully replaced back in 2018. Overall condition satisfactory. All right, so the 4 points going to go over the roof. It's going to go over the plumbing. It's going to go over the electrical, and it's going to go over the appliances. All right, photo requirements, inspector requirements, documentation. And then here we have the electrical panel. As I mentioned, they remove the entire panel itself. They're going to make sure all the wiring is correct and that there's no exposed wires. When it comes to the AC, again, full inspection on the AC. Here's the tankless water here in the AC room. All right, and then all the piping work, PVC and copper. And then the roof. So this is your 4-point inspection report. Once again, that is something that's going to be done by the inspection company. All right, any questions on this one? The 4-point inspection report. All right, so no questions on this one. So the last report that we're going to open is the wind mitigation report. Okay, so let me go ahead and open it up here and share it with you guys. So uniform mitigation verification inspection form. So a wind mitigation report is a report that is needed for your buyers to hand over to their insurance company to try and get a credit or a discount on their insurance policy. Now, if the windows are not impacted, you're not going to get a credit. If the roof is an old roof, 20 years plus, you're not going to get a credit. All right, so replacing the roof, also replacing the windows with impact windows is going to provide a discount on your insurance policy. So let's say that your buyer purchases a home and 2 years later, they go ahead and replace all the windows with impact windows, they're going to have to get a wind mitigation report performed, or inspection performed. Then they're going to grab the wind mitigation report, this one right here, and they're going to provide it to their insurance company for a credit. Not a credit, but a discount on their policy. All right, so it's going to go over all the roof coverings. It's going to go over the roof deck attachments. All right, it's going to go over the roof to wall attachments. It was done using single wraps. You have double wraps and clips. And it's going to go over the roof geometry. And we're going to go over here, water resistance, any leaks. All right, so right here we have windows or entry. All right, not applicable. There's no garage doors, no skylight, no glass block. All right, and moving on here, you have some more information on the exterior and some pictures. So in this case, guys, this property does not have any impact windows or impact sliding glass doors. So we weren't really able to, provide much more information other than the roof. And that's what the wind mitigation report covers, which is the roof, windows, and doors. Any questions on the wind mitigation inspection report? No? All right. So I want to tell you, some of these inspection companies will provide a report within 30 minutes after they've completed their report. So it is important that we choose an inspection company that will do that for you, right? And once you have that report, you discuss it with your buyers and see what path you're going to take as far as requesting any kind of credit. Now, where on the contract, or how do we request a credit? So when requesting a credit, you must submit, because you're already under contract, right? You're not going to change the actual contract. You're going to add what's called an addendum. All right. So we're going to, once again, you're going to go into the transaction. Now, I'm not going to go into one of my transactions. These are real transactions. I'm just going to go to the blank forms, but you would go into one of your transactions and you would add an addendum. Okay. So let's show you how to create an addendum that will provide credit. Of course, you're going to negotiate this first with the seller, right? You're going to negotiate this with the seller. And once you come to an agreement on a credit, then you're going to add an addendum, right? So you're going to label the addendum number 1. You're going to put in the date of the effective date of the contract, all right? Then it would be the seller's name and the buyer's name. And then right over here, the property address. Now in the space provided down below, you're going to write just like this. So we're going to say, it says here, seller and buyer make the following terms and conditions part of the contract. So you're going to put here, seller shall contribute. So we're going to go ahead and put in a contribute $2,000 towards buyer's closing costs. Okay. And that is it. It's much better for your buyer to receive a $2,000 credit on their closing costs than spreading out $2,000 over a 30-year loan period, right? So if you want to ask for $2,000 off of the purchase price, then they're barely ever going to even see that money. But if you ask for a $2,000 credit towards their closing costs, then that is money in their pocket the day of closing. Okay. You're going to also put in here all other terms and conditions, all right, of this contract remain the same. All right. And that's how you're going to prepare an addendum. You're going to go ahead and save it. And you're going to have your buyer sign it. And you have the seller sign it. And now you're going to have an addendum that's added to the contract. You're going to send it over to the title company, and they know that the seller will contribute $2,000 towards the closing costs. What if it's a much higher cost? All right, that's a question on the chat. And, if it's a much higher cost, it's a much higher cost. Like $30,000, is that what you're trying to say? So if it is a $30,000, recommended fix because the foundation is broken, roof needs to be replaced, then yes, I would absolutely try and then change the price on the purchase. All right. There are two ways that you can change the purchase price. You can change it on the contract and have all parties initial the price, or in a simple addendum, you can just go ahead and say seller and buyer agree to change the purchase price to, and then put in the new purchase price. All right, so you can write it out just like this. Seller and buyer agree to change the purchase price, to, and then you're going to put in here, let's say $600,000. Okay. And let's say the original purchase price was 630, and we're now changing the purchase price to $600,000. You can do that, or you can just go back into, you can go into the transaction itself. Here, close without saving. You can go into the transaction itself, go to the effective contract, right? And you can change the price there. Okay. All right. So that is how you're going to write the addendum to have the credit for your buyer's closing costs, or if you need to change the price, just go to the contract itself and change the price and have your buyers initial it and then your sellers initial it. Now, in the unfortunate situation, or sometimes in the necessary situation that you have to cancel a contract because of the inspection and you're closing in on the inspection period due date, then you're going to go ahead and perform what's called the release of contract. So come over here and spell the word release. Search for it, and it's here. Release and cancellation of contract for sale and purchase. Let's open that one up. And once again, you're going to put in your buyer's name here, the seller's name here, and that you are canceling the as-is contract. And you're going to put in the effective date. And then right here, you're going to have the address and legal description of the property. Name of the brokerages. So right here, you would put Elite Ocean View Realty. And then down here, you would put the seller's brokerage. Okay. And then the amount of the deposit, and it's going to be paid back to the buyer. So you're going to put the buyer's name here. The amount of the deposit will be paid back to the buyers, and then the buyer's signatures and seller signatures. Have them sign it, and then you are now officially released. Whoever's holding escrow will also need a copy of this. So the title company holding escrow will need to receive a copy of this in order to release the deposit back to the buyer. This is the release and cancellation of a contract. Hopefully you don't have to get to this point, that you're able to move forward with a transaction, but sometimes it is necessary, and this is the form that we're going to use to release ourselves from the transaction. Also, guys, the same addendum that we were looking at, right? The same addendum that we were looking at, you're going to use to, so we're going to open the addendum again. The same addendum that we were looking at, you're going to use if you need to increase the inspection period. Let's say for whatever reason, the inspector is not able to get out there and you need to buy yourself a few days. you're going to go ahead and say seller and buyer agree, right? Agree to extend the inspection period to, and then put in here May 27th. All right, so May 27th. And then once again, you're going to put in all other terms and conditions of this contract remain the same. Have your buyer sign it, seller sign it, and now the inspection period has been extended until May 27th. Okay. Any questions on what we just covered, guys? Any questions at all? All right, that was an excellent question by Luisa on the chat. You know, when you're looking at a property and you come to an agreement on a purchase price and then the inspection comes through and the entire plumbing of the house needs to be refitted, you can imagine that's going to be a costly project. Of course, your buyer does have an opportunity to back out of the purchase, but if your buyer really wants the property, then what is the recommended price to fix the entire plumbing of the property? And then just go ahead and ask for a purchase price reduction on that. Even if your contract was as is, you should still ask for it. Let's see what happens. You know, you never know. All right, guys, so that is my small presentation on the inspection report. I hope that you guys now have the knowledge to go through this experience. It's a great experience because if this will be your first time going through an inspection report, this is, of course, means that you are under contract on a property. And it's step number one. After you are under contract, it is step number one, which is the inspection period and the inspection, getting it done. All right, so just remember, guys, your buyer is going to pay for the inspection, but it is up to you to recommend some inspection companies for your buyers. All right, is there any questions before we wrap up? I see thank yous in the chat, so thank you so much. I'm going to share this recording with you a little later today, guys. So thank you so much for joining us for our class on inspections. Have a wonderful day, everyone.